Hi, I'm Deborah,
And I'm Lawrence.
and in this video we're going to talk about 5 bad reasons to stay with someone who's depressed. So this is probably in most cases going to be a romantic relationship.
Not always.
Not always. It could also, apply to a roommate, a friend, family member. And we're not telling you to leave the person who's depressed. Every relationship has so many variables that is just not possible.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't give that advice anyway, but what we want to do is take some of those reasons that people have for staying in a relationship with someone who's a depressed person and kind of shine a light on them. So the first bad reason to stay in a relationship with someone who's depressed is because you feel like you should. Obligation is not a good part of any relationship.
No.
Especially a romantic one.
You don't have to do anything. You should do what is best for you, as long as that's not actively hurting somebody else very badly.
Yeah, I mean,
even then,
if you're not doing what's best for you in the relationship,
you're going to make yourself miserable.
It's going to cause more
problems.
Yeah. So, in fact, depression is kind of referred to as being contagious because so many relatives and people who are close to someone who's depressed end up having depression too.
Yeah.
So, if they're in a tight relationship, like children, if a parent's depressed, romantic partners, if one of the partners is depressed.
Yeah.
The second bad reason to stay in a relationship with someone who's depressed is because they need you. Now, the thing is, you can still be there for them. Okay,
Yeah.
You can support them. You can be friends with them. You can listen to them. You can help them.
Yeah.
Get stuff done. But a romantic relationship is a completely different thing. You're enmeshed in a lot of different ways, and your emotional well-being is dependent on that person in a way that your emotional well-being isn't dependent on a friend.
If they need you like in an unhealthy way, that's not a good dynamic to have. That's not good. That is very bad, in fact.
Yeah, you're not doing either one of you any favors
by
if you're staying in the relationship because they need you. That's really, as Lauren said, that's just not a healthy dynamic. And as I said, you can be there for them as a friend. It's just that the romantic relationship should not be, extended because they need you. The third bad reason to stay in a relationship with someone with depression is because they promised, again, that they really were going to seek treatment. Now,
if it's in their control. Sometimes there are times where it's out of their control and they can't actually seek treatment.
No, we're really talking about someone who has said, I'll get help, I promise.
Who's willingly not.
Especially if you've said, that's it, at the end of my rope, I can't take it anymore. And they've said, okay, I will, I'm going to go see a doctor. And then it doesn't happen.
If they're willingly avoiding doing it,
if they have the ability.
That's the case we're talking about.
Yeah. Some people have some kind of psychological block about seeking treatment for depression. And, presumably, if you're in this situation, you've pointed out to them that there's nothing to be ashamed of, that, if they have insurance, or even if they don't have insurance, there are other ways.
Yeah.
We actually did a video on
about finding treatment when you don't exactly have easy access to it.
Yeah. So, if they're still hanging on, this actually happened to me. I was in a relationship with someone who was an alcoholic and depressed and refused to get any treatment because he had been in therapy when he was a teenager, and I guess the therapist wasn't good. So even though I was getting diagnosed with depression toward the end of the relationship, he still was like, no, that's not for me. So that actually was like, after a year and a half, things obviously weren't going to change. We're actually still friendly many years later. So it's not like I gave up on him. It's just that I couldn't still have my, I'm going to say it in a corny way, my heart dependent on this person anymore. The fourth bad reason to stay with someone who's depressed is because someone else said you should. Not you necessarily, but someone else. maybe your family, their family, your kids, your friends, their friends, whoever else.
Yeah.
They're not in the relationship.
Yeah, it's between you and this person.
Yeah. So, you can say, thank you for your input.
But no, this is my decision.
This is my decision. You're the one who's with them. Okay? So it's very easy for someone from outside to say,
not understand.
Yeah, to say, you really should stay with them when they're depressed. That's not up to them, and don't let that then trigger your I should stay with them because they're depressed. That's just not, again, you can be a friend, The fifth bad reason to stay with someone who's depressed is because they're suicidal. We're not necessarily talking about that they're threatening to commit suicide if you leave, because that's definitely a bad reason to stay in the relationship. We did a video about it just a few weeks ago about if someone's threatening suicide. So obviously you want to take this seriously. If they are suicidal and you're afraid what's going to happen, then again, you can be there as a friend. But if all their emotional well-being is tied up in the relationship with you, then maybe what you want to do before you actually, end things is have some couples counseling and make sure that they're in therapy.
That they are in treatment.
Yeah.
Because this is, you got to take it seriously, but, don't.
You can't be responsible.
Yeah, you can't be responsible.
They're literally their life.
You can't be responsible for, putting their life in your hands, but just get them into treatment. That is the most important thing.
If they refuse treatment and they're suicidal, if they're suicidal, under certain conditions, they actually should be probably in a hospital. So this is not a burden for you to carry as their romantic partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the kind of thing that you're not equipped for. A doctor is better equipped for.
Maybe you'll stay with this person. Maybe none of these reasons apply to you or your situation. And this person is your heart and you want to stay with them. That's great. But we just wanted to point out what some of the wrong reasons to stay with someone are.
Yeah. Well, in any case, we hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. If you'd like to say anything at all, you can leave it in the form of a comment. And if you'd like to see more content like this, then you're welcome to subscribe. But in any case, we hope that you have a nice day.
Take care.